Just briefly, I spoke to Ron this morning and to Mark Gallagher, and we've spoken before about rugby league. But you never believe everything you hear, and don't believe this either, but as a kid growing up in Manchester in England, I think Ron had an ambition, and he revealed to me this morning that that ambition was to play rugby league in Dunedoo, and he came to do it. So, and he stayed ever since. Ron.
Thanks very much, Jeff. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. And I have a lot of old memories. I put a few pages together, and me and the wife haven't spoken to each other for 3 weeks. You've got 10 minutes and that's it. No more, they're going to stop you. What is a coach? A coach is someone who gets you to do what you may not want to do. So you can be everything you've always dreamed you want to be. 1972, the start of a successful era which saw Dunedoo win 3 reserve grade premierships under the following coaches. 1972, Peter Holmes. 1977, Ron Gallagher. 1979, Wayne Seifert. Dunedoo also made the 1974 first grade grand final against Canberra, losing 14-8. On 3 other occasions we made the final and only missed making the semi-final on 1 occasion during this period. During this time, some great local talent was unearthed. Chrissy Large, Richie Tatham, Peter O'Leary, Sam Clark, Richie Whale, Brian Johnson, just to name a few. Also during this period, the club was served by some great players who with their experience held the club together. David Abbott, Gordon Innes, Peter Clark, Peter Holmes, Brian Young, the late Robert Large, Earl Darlington, Peter Bennett, John Brennan and the Seifert brothers, to name a few. In 1972, Mudgee finished 2nd place on the ladder and Dunedoo finished 4th. The semi-final was played at Mudgee, and against all odds we beat them 8-2 with no tries being scored. The game plan worked to perfection. Hold the ball for 3 tackles, then kick it down the field with 12 chases. Then tackle, tackle, tackle. And that is not my strength. In their 25, with the ball, attempt a field goal. The old proverb, a champion team will always beat a team of champions. And just to show how good sports Mudgee were, they helped Cole Harper, the referee, to push start his car. His car and we had to have our showers at the Golgon RSL Club because we couldn't get into the dressing room with their supporters. There was many good games played against Mudgee. The local derbies against Mudgee were the highlight of the season. And the day Group 14 released Mudgee to Group 10 was the nail in the coffin of Group 14. I've got a funny story from 1973. Dunedoo played Mudgee at Mudgee, and we did not get a result for 2 weeks. Ken Green, the referee from Mendoran, and also a school teacher, left straight after the game to go away on school holidays. There was a dispute about a conversion from the sideline, which was waved away, but the scorer recorded the 2 points. At the time, Terry O'Brien, who was our official at the table, had left the table to go to the toilet, so the Mudgee scorer just put in 2 points. Fortunately, someone had recorded the radio broadcast and they announced on the radio the attempt was waved away. The score announced we ended up with the 2 points and won 25-24 after 2 weeks. 1975, the first semi-final, we were beaten by Mudgee, 11-10 at Gilgandra. That was one of Dunedoo's favourite sons' last game. David Abbott, family man, good bloke, tremendous footballer, great team player, good mate. David lived for football. He played all his football with Dunedoo, except for 2 years when he lived in Coolah. David represented Group 14, Western Division. I was in the Western Division team that won the very first Amcal Cup. He was Group 14 Player of the Year. The Best and Fairest awards came David's way on many occasions. David also coached kids in the junior league. He was always coaching and helping those young footballers from Dunedoo, Leadville and Coolah. He was greatly missed by us all. In 1976, we went to Mudgee to play for the Boronia Cup. The Friday night before we had the bare 13 players. Mudgee were leading the competition undefeated. Dunedoo was running third last. Half time of the reserve grade, we only had 10 players. Richie Whale put his hand up and came off the reserve grade to play with us. I wasn't playing at the time, I was a non-playing coach. Anyway, we scraped up 13 players, including myself, and the game plan was easy. Hold the ball, tackle, and upset the bastards. The game was going from one end of the field to the other. Mudgee was attacking our 20-metre line, and Mark Pauling dropped the ball. We won the scrum 10 metres from our line, and from the next play of the ball, I called for the ball 5 metres from our try line. I was shouting for the ball when I saw Mark Pauling coming at me from the blind side. I tossed the ball over my shoulder and prepared to defend myself. What happened was, Ricky Tathown picked up the loose ball over our try line and took off up the field and past 3 Mudgee players running towards the altercation the other way. The referee, Cole Harper, following Ricky the 100 metres where he scored under the post. While that was going on, Mark Pauling ran from the field into the crowd, telling everyone who would listen, they're mad, somebody's going to get hurt, as he wiped the blood from his nose. While this was going on, the linesman came in to break up the altercation. When Ian Carney picked him up and he was taken back to where he should have been off the field. Cole Harper came back to where it all started and called the linesman onto the field. He could only say, Carney started it, number 6. The referee blew his whistle and gave us the try. Result, we won the Boronia Cup after leading 10-0 at half-time. 25-17 was the final score, where Chrissy Large, the king of the intercept, scored 2 tries after I was set up for some trivial thing, but it was good. In 1977, I thought that I'd retired and finished after 76. Cole Johnson came to see me and asked me to coach the reserves. His son Brian was coming home from Scots College to work on the farm. Cole said he would rather Brian played reserve grade until he matured a bit. And at that stage, he was playing rugby union and was a very good footballer. The reserve grade that year was a perfect balance of experience, youth, hard-heads, brilliant footballers, great finishers, but most of all team players. Grand final versus Barradine at Gilgandra, full-time 20 all. Cole Harper was the referee, and his father was a bookmaker, and he collected the money at the full time. He took 2 points, so he accepted all the bets. We won in extra time, 30-24. In the late 70s, Dunedoo was again a force in Group 14 when Cole Parks agreed to coach Dunedoo and bring with him a wealth of experience. John Lewis, who came from Wellington, organised Cliffy Smith, Peter Cornish and Jackie Parks to play with Dunedoo. Dunedoo was beaten in the final by Coonabarabran at Canamble, but we played our grand final a week before against Barradine, who went on to win the competition. In this era, one name sticks out. Brian Johnston, from Dunedoo Reserve Grade to Western Division to Country First. In 12 months, he went from Dunedoo Reserves to playing for St George, to playing for New South Wales, and eventually playing for Australia. I feel very proud to have played a small part in Brian's journey. I came here for 6 months to coach Dunedoo with a pregnant wife and 2-year-old son. Now, 51 years later, I am still here and have raised a family of 2 sons and a daughter who have all played for Dunedoo. We have 7 granddaughters who have played league tag for Dunedoo and one chomping at the bit until she's old enough to play next year. We have a grandson playing senior league and 2 grandsons currently playing junior league. 2 weeks ago we had the pleasure of watching 5 of our granddaughters playing in the 1 team against Narromine for the Swanettes and our grandson playing for the Swans. I feel proud to have been part of the Dunedoo Football Club and proud to call Dunedoo our home. And this all came about because of football. What makes Dunedoo a great club? Committee, supporters, players, sponsors, and the Dunedoo Junior League where 50% of their players come from. Dunedoo, the town where people make the difference. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to be part of this wonderful occasion. Thank you very much.